Hi everyone. In previous class we studied about the basic aspects of the tissue culture. In today's session we will be going to know about the types of tissue culture. In types of tissue culture in today's session you will be studying about the callus culture as well as organogenesis. Let's begin. So before that we will recall the definition of the tissue culture. So what is tissue culture? So it is a technique in which the fragments of plants are cultured and grown in the laboratory. Fine. So there are different types of tissue culture. You can see here callus culture, organ culture, protoplast culture, seed culture, embryo culture. And other types of tissue culture you can see here, they are pollen cultures, anther culture, single cell cultures, suspension culture, and somatic embryogenesis. So these are the types of the tissue culture. So now what do you mean by callus? Okay, so callus is a term referred for unspecialized cells, unorganized cells, or you can call it as a dividing mass of the cells. Okay, so it can be produced when the explants are cultured in a correct medium. Okay, so it is produced only when the explants are cultured in an appropriate medium. And a good example of this is the tumor tissues that grows out of the wounds of differentiated tissues or organs of the plants. You can say organs are nothing but root, shoot, leaves and flowers. Okay, so example is tumor tissues means waste of the mass or gum cells which are produced from the organs of the plants, so you can call it as the callus only. Okay, so the tumor tissues that grows out of the wounds of the differentiated tissues are known as the callus, you can say. Okay, so it is a good example for callus. So these are the types of the tissue culture, and we will discuss these all types of the tissue cultures in upcoming sessions. And in today's class we will discuss about the callus culture as well as the organogenesis. So we came to know what is callus. Okay, so callus is formed by the proliferation or the differentiation from the parent tissue. And these cells of the callus, they may be parenchymatous and they are unorganized. And generally the callus is formed as the result of injury at the cut ends of the stem and the root. And when the tissues on the culture produces the unorganized mass of the callus, right? So when the tissues on the culture medium, they produces unorganized or unspecialized mass of cells, they are nothing but the callus. And this callus formation was first isolated by the Richinger in 1893, and this callus may be initiated from the explants of any multicellular plants. Okay, so the callus can be formed with the help of the explants of any multicellular plants, and the explants from the stem, root, leaf, flowers, fruit and seeds may be taken for the callus culture. The callus formation has been recorded from the storage of parenchyma, pericycle cells of the roots, and cambial cells of vascular bundles, and provascular cells, secondary phloem. So these are many types of the parts of the plants from which the callus has been originated, or you can say callus can be formed. And usually the large piece of the tissues are selected for the culture of the callus. And then comes the nutrient media for the callus culture. Some of the standard media like Morashig and Sug media, they can be used successfully for the callus culture. And for the callus initiations, usually an outside supply of the hormones is required. But if we take the explants of the cambial cells, we will not supply the hormones for them. Okay, so according to the hormone requirements, the callus culture, it can be divided into five types of cultures. And the first one is auxin requiring culture, second one cytokinin requiring culture, third one cultures requiring both auxins and the cytokinin, Fourth one, gibberellin requiring cultures. Fifth one, culture requiring other natural extracts such as yeast extract and coconut milk extract, tomato juice extract. So such type of cultures are required only in the hormone cultures. Okay, so there are five types of the cultures in the hormone requirement callus culture. So we came to know the nutrient media of the callus culture. The most suitable nutrient media for the callus is boracic and sug medium. Next comes the method of callus culture. Usually the explants from the suitable materials. Suitable materials means the explants of the carrot root, potato, stem of the tobacco. They are taken for the callus culture. And these explants must be first surface sterilized with 1.6% of sodium hypochlorite solution and 0.1% of mercury chloride solution, or you can take 1% of the aqueous solution of the bromine. And then the inner uncontaminated tissue is exceeded, and if the exceeded tissue is taken from the seedling, then the seed before germination is surface sterilized and allowed to germinate under the under the aseptic conditions. Aseptic conditions means uncontaminated area or the environment. And usually there are two types of initiation in the callus culture. They are callus shoot initiation and callus root initiation. And for the callus shoot initiation, the pH must be 3.5 or to 4.5, right? And then callus root initiation, here same, the pH must be 3.5 to 4.5. And here the materials which are required in callus shoot initiation and the callus root initiations all are same except the growth hormones. In shoot initiation we will require cytokinin, and in root initiation we will require auxins. Okay, so other materials like micronutrients, macronutrients, vitamins, agar, plant growth hormones, they will differ here. And these are the materials required for the shoot initiation and the root initiation. And pH is also same. So in callus shoot initiation, it contains the micronutrients, vitamins, agar. Okay, so it's same in root initiation. So it also contains the macro and micronutrients, vitamins, and plant hormones. Only the growth regulators will differ here. In shoot initiation we will require cytokinin, and in root initiation we will require auxins, right? So next we will take an example for the callus culture. So I have taken the example of the root, carrot root. So first what we will do in this, we should wipe down and turn on the laminar airflow 15 minutes before doing the work on the table. So this is nothing but the flame sterilization of the instrument. Next, we should take the carrot root and cut the carrot root into 3 to 6 centimeters long, and we should discard the ends of the carrot. And then we have to remove the epidermis. Then we have to put the root sections into the sterile jar having the chlorate bleach solution, that is nothing but 1.4% chlorine. And then we have to shake it for few seconds. Next, we should remove the bleach solution. So the chlorate bleach solution is nothing but 1.4% of the chlorine. Okay, so we have to remove the bleach solution into the waste beaker. Then we have to cut 1 centimeter of the carrot root section from each of the end, and we should discard the other end portions. Then we have to cut 3 to 5 transverse section across the root, and then we have to transfer each to the fresh sterile petri dish. Okay, so if we cut 3 sections of the root, we should transfer it to the 3 sterile petri dish. And then we should cut the smaller sections of the X plants approximately 5 mm square, right? So from each of the transverse section by cutting across the cambium. Okay, so for the cutting process across the cambium, again we require three steps. Firstly, we should trim the cortex and the phloem from each of the transverse section, and secondly we should cut off 5 mm wide stripes containing the cambium. Thirdly, each stripe can then be subdivided to produce 5 mm square explants. Okay, so these are the three steps we should keep in mind for cutting across the cambium. And then what we will do, so then after cutting, we should measure the weight of the explants. Okay, so after that we should measure the weight of the explants. Then we should put each explants sections into the culture tubes containing the carrot callus initiation. And we know that the callus initiation, it may be of the root initiation and the shoot initiation. It depends upon you which from where you want to produce the callus, either from the shoot or either from the root. Okay, so if you want to produce the callus from the shoot, you should choose the callus shoot initiation, where you will put the growth regulator, that is a cytokinin. And if you want to produce the callus from the this one root, you should choose the growth hormone, that is the auxins. Okay, so it depends upon you which stage you will choose here. And then we should seal all the tubes with the parafilm. So parafilm is nothing but the plastic tape which is used to seal the tubes in the tissue culture, so it reduces the dehydration of the medium. And then we have to incubate the culture tubes in the dark at 25 degrees Celsius, and then we have to examine weekly in the intervals, and then we have to record, and then we have to observe the changes. Next, what we will do, the callus is formed and is removed from the primary explants after 45 days, and it is waved. And then the callus, again it is subcultured, again it is cultured here. Okay, so again it is subcultured into the same medium for the future callus growth. And we should again seal the tubes having the parafilm, which reduces the dehydration. And then we have to incubate all the tubes in the dark again at 25 degrees Celsius. And then last we have to measure the efficiency of the root and the shoot, and by this callus is formed on the explants of the carrot. And then this callus is again further used in the culture to get the new plant. And there are three stages of the callus culture. They are induction stage, proliferative stage, morphogenesis stage. So this proliferative stage is also known as the cell division stage, and morphogenesis stage is also known as the differentiation stage. So what happens in the induction stage? Here the cells in the explant, they de-differentiate and begin to divide. Okay, so the metabolism is stimulated here, and the cells prepare to divide. Okay, and the cell size remains unchanged in the induction stage. And then cell division stage, what happens here? The cells divide actively and the cell size here decreases. Okay, so whereas in the induction stage the cell size is unchanged, and here in the cell division stage the cell sizes decreases. And cell division is mainly periclinal and occurs towards the periphery, giving rise to the cambial cells. Okay, so in induction stage, here the cells prepare to divide and the cell size remain unchanged here. Okay, due to the metabolism is stimulated. And in cell division stage, what happens here? The cells are actively participating in the division, and hence the cell size decreases here, and they give a rise to the cambial cells. And in morphogenesis stage means it is a differentiation stage. We know that differentiation occurs by the expansion and maturation of the cells. Okay, And here the growing callus, they are more or like they are same, and but as the growth rate decreases, the callus will shows its characteristic structures and forms of the callus. So these are the three stages of the callus culture. Next, moving towards the next slide, that is importance of the callus culture. So what may be the significance of the callus culture now? So they are used in regeneration of the whole plant, and here in the callus culture we can control the nutrient media and hormonal constituent in the medium. And nextly, the callus tissues are the source of the genetic variability, so that this variable can regenerate the new plant here. And the somatic embryos can be produced directly from the somatic cells of the callus tissues, and these somatic embryos can give rise to the new plant. And from the callus culture, it is possible to initiate the cell suspension culture, and it helps in obtaining the secondary metabolites. These secondary metabolites are nothing but the drugs, and hence these drugs can be extracted directly from the cell without destroying the plant. And by this, the plants can be conserved. Okay, so these are some importance of the callus culture. Next, moving towards the next topic, that is organogenesis. So, what is this organogenesis? So, organogenesis is induction of adventitious roots, shoot, or other organs in the cultured tissue is very important in the plant tissue culture methodology. The formation of the shoots and roots can be initiated from the cultured plant cells. Okay, so the induction of the different adventitious organs of the plant from cultured tissue under in vitro condition is known as the organogenesis. Okay, so what is organogenesis? The induction of different adventitious organs of the plant. Organs are nothing but shoot, root, flowers, and leaves. Okay, so the induction of different adventitious organs of the plant from cultured tissue under in vitro condition is known as organogenesis. And these organs includes two steps, that is collagenesis and rhizogenesis. So the induction of the adventitious shoot buds from the cultured tissue is known as collagenesis, and this was usually made after the formation of the callus in the culture conditions and directly from the explant which was placed on the medium. Okay, so the induction of the adventitious roots from the cultured tissue is known as the rhizogenesis. So collagenesis means induction of the shoot buds, and rhizogenesis means induction of the roots. And the rhizogenesis is induced only after the collagenesis. Okay, so what it means after the formation of the shoots or the stems on the callus, we can induce the root initiation. Okay, so after the formation of the this one shoot or the stems, we can form the root. So hence the rhizogenesis is induced only after the collagenesis, only after the formation of the shoot buds. After both type of organogenesis, that is the collagenesis as well as the rhizogenesis. Collagenesis means shoots will form, and rhizogenesis means roots will form. So after both the type of organogenesis, the separate individual plants was transferred to the soil condition through the process of hardening. Okay, so after the formation of the shoot and the root, the plant is transferred to the soil condition, that is known as the process of hardening. So here you can see there are different stages of the organogenesis. Firstly, the shoot tip in the medium, here you can see it, and then what happens, on the shoot tip there is a formation of the callus, and on the callus, third one, that is growth of the stem occurs. Okay, so firstly you will form the shoot tip, and then what happens on the shoot, you will forms the form to see the callus. And then what happens on the callus, there is a growth of the stem, and then we have to initiate the rhizogenesis. For the initiation of the rhizogenesis, we have to put the auxins or hormones here, and then only we will get the roots. And after the formation of the root, then the plant is transferred to the soil, and then we can plant the whole plant in the garden. So these are the stages of the organogenesis. Next, there are two types of organogenesis, that is direct and indirect organogenesis, or you can call it as the regeneration. So this direct regeneration and indirect regeneration, they depend upon the ratio of the cytokinins as well as the auxins. So for the induction of the root, the ratio of the auxins and cytokinins must be 10 is to 1 to 100 is to 1. Okay, so for the induction of the shoot, the ratio of the auxins and cytokinins must be 1 is to 10 to 1 is to 100. Okay, so if this ratio is present in the roots and shoot, it is a direct organogenesis. And if the ratio of the auxins and cytokinins is 1 is to 1, then it favors the callus growth, that is the indirect organogenesis. So what is this direct organogenesis? So here you can see from the explants, it is producing the meristomoid. Meristomoid means what? It is a small triangular stomatal cell that functions temporarily as the stem cell in the meristem. Okay, so meristomoid means it is a small triangular stomatal cell that functions as the temporarily stem cell in the meristem, is known as the meristomoid. And then it leads to the primordium. Primordium means it is an organ or the tissue in the early stage of the development. So the explant, from the explant, what happens? Meristomoid stage occurs, then primordium stage occurs. So that is nothing but the direct stage. And in indirect organogenesis, what happens? Firstly, we will take the explant, then on the explants we will form the callus. Okay, so the ratio of the auxins and cytokinin here, it is unequal. Okay, so hence we will get the callus. Then on the callus, what happens? There is a formation of the peristomoid. Peristomoid means what I said, it is a stomatal cell that functions temporarily as the stem cell in the meristematic tissues. And then it leads to the primordium. Primordium means it is the early stage of the development. Okay, so this is the indirect organogenesis. And if we see the factors affecting organogenesis, there are many factors which affect the organogenesis, like size of the explant, source of the explant, age of the explant, seasonal variation. Seasonal variations, how do they affect? Means there is one species known as liham. So this liham, when we pluck or take the explant during the spring or during the autumn period of the growth, so it freely produces the another plant in the cultures. And but when we pluck or take the explants during the winter season, they do not produce any bulb or explants of the liham species. Okay, so the seasonal variations also, they affect the organogenesis. Also there is a another factor, that is oxygen gradient. How does this oxygen gradient affects now? So in some of the cultures, the shoot bud formation takes place when the gradient of available oxygen inside the culture vessel is reduced, and but rooting requires a high oxygen gradient. So by this, oxygen gradient also affects the organogenesis. Also the quality and intensity of the light will also affect, temperature also affect, and then plant hormones, culture medium, agar agar medium, that is the gelling medium, that also affects the organogenesis. Also the pH of medium affects the organogenesis. We know that pH of the culture medium is generally adjusted between 5.6 to 5.8 before the sterilization process, and then this pH may vary in upcoming stages. So this may affect the organogenesis. So these are the few factors which affects the organogenesis. So, in this session, we came to know about the types of tissue culture, and in tissue culture, we studied about the callus culture as well as the organogenesis. Okay, so in callus culture, you came to know about the method of callus culture, and then procedure by using the carrot as an example, and you came to know about the stages of callus culture. Also, you came to know which type of nutrient is used in the callus culture and its importance. And in organogenesis, we came to know about the direct and indirect organogenesis and its factors. I hope you guys understood well. Thank you.